Feel trapped by your own struggles, like you're caught in a storm with no shelter, tossed around by waves of circumstance, emotion, and thought. We spend so much of our lives trying to fight that storm, trying to command the waves, just desperately looking for some solid ground to stand on. What if the real source of our deepest suffering isn't the storm itself, but the story we tell ourselves about it? When the pain of loss is sharp, or when anxiety feels overwhelming, calling it an illusion can sound like it's cheapening the experience. But please, stay with me. This isn't about denial or pretending that pain doesn't exist. It's about looking at the nature of that pain from a new angle, an angle that might hold the very key to your liberation. But what if there's a different way to see it? What if the storm isn't happening to you, but for you? We start to define ourselves by our struggles. I'm a person who is wronged. I'm someone who will never get a break. I'm broken. Each of these thoughts is another bar on a cage we build around ourselves. It's recognizing that the suffering me, the main character in all our personal dramas, is a mental construct. It proposes that the idea of a separate self, an I that is fundamentally distinct from the world, is the primary illusion. We think we are just one single isolated wave, and so we live in fear of crashing on the rocks. We forget that we are the entire ocean. A wave is just a temporary shape the ocean takes, but its true nature is the vast, deep water itself. The answer is both incredibly simple and the work of a lifetime. We suffer because we are mentally replaying a painful past or anxiously rehearsing a frightening future. Our mind is like a restless monkey, always jumping from the branch of what was to the branch of what if. You just notice it. Sadness is here. You feel the raw sensation of it in your body without slapping a story on it. By doing this, you are no longer the sadness. You are the loving, spacious awareness that is holding the sadness. This awareness is like a light. You don't have to fight darkness. You just turn on the light. The shadows of suffering can't survive when you truly look at them. This perspective doesn't ask you to deny that pain. The practice is to pull your attention out of those future scenarios and into your body right now. Facing a lack of resources is a practical problem to be solved. But building an identity as a poor person or a failure is a heavy, painful story. It's something deeper and far more stable, a state of underlying peace. You can deal with the facts of the situation with far more clarity and power when you aren't weighed down by the conceptual identity the mind has built around it. It's allowing the brittle leaves of old identities to fall away so the tree of your being can stand strong and aware. It's the end of searching for peace in things outside of yourself, in possessions, relationships, or achievements because you've finally found it right where it's always been, inside of you. Adversity, when met with awareness, can become a doorway to waking up. And the sky doesn't suffer when clouds pass through it. It simply is, unchanging, aware, free. Notice your thoughts without automatically believing them. Notice the little gaps of silence between your thoughts. Notice the quiet, still awareness that's listening to these words right now. That is the beginning of your freedom. Feel your hands. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel your breath moving in and out. Pain is an inevitable part of life, but suffering can become optional. The freedom you're looking for isn't found by changing your circumstances, but by changing the consciousness through which you experience them. In the solid reality of this moment, you see the anxious thoughts for what they are, just phantoms, scary movies projected onto a screen with no real substance here and now. Instead, it invites you to experience it as a powerful river. On the surface, there will always be waves. Some days, gentle ripples, other days, towering storms. That's life. But deep below, the ocean is always still, silent, and at peace. Awakening is discovering that you are the depth of the ocean, not just the temporary waves. When you know yourself as this depth, you can experience the waves of life, the joy, the sadness, the winds, the losses without being thrown off your center. You build a resilience that comes not from having a perfect life, but from realizing your true nature is already perfect and whole. Resisting it is like trying to build a dam. The pressure just builds until it breaks you. Presence is allowing the river of grief to flow through you. It will carve new pathways, but it will eventually find its way to the sea, leaving behind a richer, more fertile landscape. You become the space for the grief, not its victim. But right now, in this exact moment, as you breathe in and out, separate from the story about your life, is there a problem? The key is your attention. The gateway is the present moment. When you pull your full attention into what's happening right now, you stop feeding the thoughts that create suffering. This is the practice of becoming a witness. Imagine you're sitting on a peaceful riverbank. Your thoughts and feelings are like leaves floating by on the current. If you feel comfortable, share it in the comments below, not as a complaint, but as an act of witnessing. Reading each other's stories reminds us that while the details differ, the mechanism of the mind is the same for all of us. It reminds us we are not alone. You don't have to jump in the water and get swept away with every leaf. You can simply sit and watch them drift past. It's like an actor who has played a tragic hero for so long, he has forgotten he's on a stage. He believes he is the character. Awakening is the moment the actor remembers he can take off the costume. We're not trapped by the pain, but by the identity we form from it. The suffering isn't the event. It's the narrative we layer on top, fueled by a mind that's constantly whispering that things should be different. I know that idea might feel jarring or even dismissive. Bodies get injured, relationships end, we lose people we love. These events trigger real sensations and emotions. There's no illusion there. Your heart pounds, you sweat, you might even cry out. The terror is a genuine experience. But what happens the moment you wake up? The fear vanishes. You realize the monster that was chasing you wasn't an external threat, but a projection of your own mind. The threat was an illusion, even if the feeling of fear was real. The awareness that noticed your joy yesterday is the same awareness that is noticing your sorrow today. The thoughts, feelings, and sensations are always changing, like clouds passing in the sky. But you aren't the clouds. You are the sky, the vast, open, unchanging space where everything happens. The sky is never harmed by the storm. The initial sting is the pain. Suffering is the infection that sets in afterward. The pain is the clean wound. The suffering is the story our mind creates, the constant prodding and poking at the wound that prevents it from healing. The prison of our own making. The suffering often comes from the story our mind builds around the pain. Spiritual teacher Eckhart Tolle describes this as a pain body. Think of it like a heavy backpack you've been carrying since childhood. Every time you experience emotional pain and don't fully process it, you add another rock to the bag. Eventually, the backpack becomes so heavy that its weight is the new normal. When a new trigger happens, even a small pebble of an event, you don't just feel the pebble. You feel the crushing weight of all the rocks you've been carrying for years. Let's be clear, pain is a real and unavoidable part of being human. This is the layer we have more influence over than we think. We get so lost in the drama of carrying this weight that we forget we can set the backpack down. The nature of the grand illusion. So, what does it mean to call this an illusion? Think of a nightmare. While you're in it, the fear is 100% real. Many spiritual traditions suggest that awakening from suffering is a similar process. It's like waking up from the dream of compulsive thought. This is a core insight of nonduality. Your true self is not your thoughts, your emotions, or your life story. It's the awareness that is witnessing all of it. The gateway to liberation, attention, and presence. If we're trapped in an illusion, how do we wake up? Most of our suffering is tied to time. As Eckhart Tolle says, realize deeply that the present moment is all you have. Make the now the primary focus of your life. When a wave of sadness comes, you don't fight it. As we explore this path of witnessing our own minds, I am curious, what is the one struggle or story you feel most defined by? Transforming your life from the inside out. This shift in perspective has real, practical power in your life. Let's talk about grief. When we lose someone, the pain is immense. Or think about anxiety. Anxiety is almost always fueled by what-if thoughts about the future. This even applies to external hardships like financial trouble, the peace that lies beyond. So what's on the other side of this illusion? It's not a life with no problems or a state of nonstop happiness. Think of the ocean again. This is the process of letting go. The core message today is this: your deepest suffering is not caused by the events of your life. That immense weight you feel like you're carrying, it was never really yours to hold. It was a cloud passing through the sky of your awareness. For the rest of today, I invite you to just notice. If this exploration resonated with you, subscribe for more journeys into the nature of consciousness and reality.